Welcome to our new series here on making icons 2.0. Just a quick little preamble. So we're going to start from a third person basic template, and that's where we're going to slowly build up our system so that everybody has a clean, same starting point. We're going to work through the C++ implementation of our right-click context menu, and then following that, I guess we will ultimately move that into our template as a module, so that we can move this item around to other projects if we want. If we want to add it to a project that isn't going to be part of our current template, but we'll always have it because it'll be part of our template, which will be awesome. So without much further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so not that anybody doesn't know, or maybe you don't. It depends on how new you are. I'm gonna, from the Epic Games launcher here, I'm gonna just launch the latest version of it, 5.3.2. I'm going to launch that, and it should pop up here relatively soon. And we will go to a new game project. I'm going to pick a third person template. I'm going to pick a C++ project, and I'm going to call it um, 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 make icon NC BP. Okay, call it whatever you want, and I'm going to create that. So ultimately, I'm going to delete this project when I'm done because I'm not going to need it anymore. And if you're anything like me, you got a pile of these other projects slowly building up in your directories and stuff that yeah, need some housekeeping once in a while. So this should pop up in a second, and we'll okay. So here we are. Just finished opening up third person template. Nothing special about it. It's exactly like everybody else has running around in the super cool new Manny thing. Okay. Um, and we want to start in C++. So here's our Visual Studio I've got. Maybe you've got something different, which is great. And I'm going to just close the editor because I don't need it right now. And we're going to be beginning here. And in fact, we might actually even begin in just the text editor. But what I want to just double check here is in games. Here we got our make icon CPP file. Here's our source directory. Here's our main project module, if you will. And so we're going to be adding a new module in the source directory here. We're going to be editing these target files and the build files. So um, let's move on to that. Okay, so let me just grab Explorer here. And I'm in my dev directory. I'm in my make icon in CPP file. I'm going into my source directory. And here I've got the source files for the main project module. And so in here, I'm going to make a new folder, and I'm going to call it my HFX editor. Okay. And inside here, I'm going to make a new text file, and I'm going to call this one hfx underscore editor dot build dot cs, and I'm going to get rid of the dot text at the end, and I'm going to change its type. Oh, dot .ca, it's not a website dot .cs. And we're going to change the type again. Okay, so that's one. Then we're going to make a new folder. We want to keep our private and public sections apart. So I'm going to make a private folder. Not that I'm going to use it, but we might in the future. And I want a public folder. And because that's what we want. No, other way around. We're going to actually use the private one because this module doesn't really need to be talked to by anything else. Inside our private folder, we are going to make a new text document, and it's going to be called hfx underscore editor module dot cpp. Apparently, this is a naming convention that Unreal likes to use or recommends, just to have the word module behind the actual module name, just so that you know which file you're working in. Okay, so inside of our, we're going to go from there. I'm going to go back to my build.cs file, and I'm going to open that with Notepad. I'm just going to delete these other, close these other files I have open. Gosh, I have successfully done this. And I I wasted probably 8 or 10 hours yesterday looking for a bloody spelling mistake. So sometimes it's just the easiest, the simplest things that are the problem with what you've got going on. Um, in here, we are going to start off with um, uh, we have to get the Unreal Build tool to recognize things. So we're going to say using Unreal Build tool, and then we're going to make a public class, and I'm going to be HFX editor and module rules. Now, um, other videos, people just copy and paste from the existing project into this one to create it. I find that doing that, you end up not really knowing what was needed and what wasn't. So I created and slowly built from the basic here so that you don't copy and paste more than what you need. And so inside of this, we're going to do another public HFX editor. I'm going to say read only target rules, target, close bracket, colon, base, target. Now, some of this could be done in the Visual Studio and you'll get some autocompletes, which would be nice. But that's okay. We're going to just persevere here for the time being. So one of the things that maybe we'll do that now. Let's, oh, am I gonna? No, we're going to continue with this. Almost got you. We're going to include, we're going to have these new paths that the engine is going to need to kind of know about. And I'm pretty sure I need these. It makes sense that they are here anyways. Include paths, add range, not add range, that's another different problem. New string. And we're going to add, we'll put it here, HFX editor / private, and we'll add one for the public. HFX editor / public. And then we can close off the bracket and semicolon to end that statement. And then I'm going to create a private dependency. Module names. We'll do add range. Be new string. And we are going to add core. And we're going to add, oops. And we're going to add core UObject. And we're going to add engine. Yeah. So I'm going to just leave it at that for now. We need to close our bracket and add our semicolon here. I'm going to leave it for that for now, and we're going to slowly add these as needed. There's only a couple, but you know what? I didn't go back and slowly remove everything to make everything work. We're going to do that during this video, so that we create and add the includes as needed to get successful compiles and get things to work. So that is this file. Inside our private folder, we had this CPP file. Now I want to add well, we're going to do that one inside. We'll do that inside the editor. In Visual Studio, I mean. So we're going to do this. Okay, so closing out Notepad there. And coming back into our project folder. I'm pretty sure this is all I need to do. It should do stuff. Let's right click our U project and and generate Visual Studio projects files. And we'll see if we get what we got. If we don't, then we'll do some more. So I'll reload all here. Okay, good. That's what I wanted. So here is our module, HFX editor. We have a private section, we have our CPP file, and we have our build.cs file. I'm going to open that, and it looks all fine and wonderful. So the next thing that I want to do is I'm going to open this your project name editor.target.cs. I'll put that one. And we see this extra module names at the bottom here. And what we want to do here is we're going to just grab this last line. I'm going to copy it and I can paste it here. And here we're going to change this to our HFX editor. You can call this, by the way, anything you want it to be. So that is one step. The next step, I'm going to not put it in this targets project target.cs because I don't think it needs to be there. I have it in my other project, so we're going to see if that is an edit that's necessary or not. But the next one that we need to do is look at our actual U project file. So let's open that one, and we see that we've got this. And for this, I'm going to, here's our modules, and I'm going to grab this curly bracket set here. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to put a comma here, and I'm going to paste it in. And this one, we're going to call, guess what? We're going to call it HFX editor. The type is going to be editor, right? Because it's an editor function. The loading phase, you can't leave it a default. It doesn't work. Maybe it did in the past. I don't know, but this is again another item that took me a long time to find my problem because I'm not as good debugger as I hope to be. There's a loading phase, and one of them is post engine initialization, or init, and we're going to leave it like that. I think when this gets built, it might add some other lines in here. Like I've had additional dependency lines being added here, um, which maybe, you know what, maybe we just try help it out and we'll just add it. And so it's going to be additional dependencies, right? Colon, and then square bracket, and then in here, in quotes, engine. Okay, so that should be it for that one. So when you move this to a new project, this is one of those edits that you're going to need to do to your other project, right? Because we're not going to be able to include your other modules. So this is one of those updates that you're going to need to do in that other project when we move it. Well, I'll do that when we do this together. Similarly, for the project target.css or project editor.target.cs, you're going to have to add this line in your other project. So then we got our build one, our editor build here. Now there's one more. In our build.cs, so our project build.cs file, we need to add our module name to the list here. So I'm going to just go at comma, and we'll put in HFX editor. So again, this would be one of those edits that you're going to need to do in whatever project that you bring your module to. Okay, so we can save that one. And I think since we added this, I think that's all the kind of configuration files that we need to do right now. So I'm going to save all. I'll do a build. It might be okay. I hope it is. Yes, 11 succeeded, 0 failed. Great. So I'm going to, again, I'll just push save all because you never know what didn't save. I'm going to close this, and I'm going to actually close this because I don't need that anymore. I'm going to go back into my directory, and I'm going to do a regenerate project files. Because we added stuff to our build CS file and included modules, this will make sure things all connect together. We're going to go back into our Visual Studio. And everybody seems happy here. Nothing changed. Okay. So now onto the fun one. Our HFX editor module.cpp. So let's start that one up. And I'm just going to get my one I'm going to copy from. No, not that one. I want to get this one open. Okay, so something that we use in here is, I guess, what we're going to do, I'm going to add some lines at the top. I'm going to make a multi-line comment here. There's probably a keystroke for that somewhere. And I'm just going to say this is my editor menu modification, something like that. One thing that I know that later on that we're going to need is for localization, and it's going to want a namespace. So we're going to do a define, and we're going to do lock text namespace, and we're going to do HFX editor. I don't know anything else about localization, so but starting somewhere. In this folder, in this file, um, we are, since we're not using a .h file, because we're keeping this all private, we are going to create our class in here, and it's going to be F, I don't know stuff, HFX editor module, and it'll be a public F default module implementation. Okay. So that's what that's going to be. Inside here, we are going to have we are going to do a void. When you're going over something and then you're telling something about someone about it, and then you look back at your code and you go, "Huh, I thought it was something different here, but apparently not." That's what I'm currently doing right now. So we're gonna be overriding a startup module, which is in the result of this creating it. There's an interface. I don't know all of it. There's an interface call somewhere in there that has the override of this already set up. So um, I used to have override written underneath these, but somehow that must have been removed. I don't recall doing that. Anyways, we got these two functions that we're going to be overriding. And then we are going to, inside here, we are going to have a private section where we are going to create a couple of functions. One to add our content browser context menu extender thing, that the additional menu item, and then one to remove it so that when it loads or unloads it does that. So, and those are the two functions that we're going to call from the startup and the shutdown. So let's do that. Let's get our first one here. So we got a void. We're going to say add content browser context menu extender. Okay, so that's going to be one of the functions. And the other one is going to be a void remove content browser. Yeah, I think you might have noticed where I found my spelling mistake. Um, context menu extender. That could be a constant function. Okay, so those are going to be our two functions. In the startup one, we're going to call the add content menu extender thing. And in the shutdown, we're going to call the remove. Okay. So that's that's how that starts off anyways. Um, so far I don't have any includes up here yet, although I know that I'm going to need one that I'm going to add right now. It's an include for our modules. So this one is modules slash uh, module manager.h. So that's one for sure that we need. Now let's continue. This function here to add the content browser, make a little more space over on the other side here. We want to add it to the content browser, right? And so first we'll get a connection to that, I guess. Yeah, we'll get a reference to that. So F content browser module, and we'll call it the content browser module. And I see that we don't have we have a incomplete type, right? Does it know which one to add? Maybe. So it says to add include content browser to module.h. And that's the one I want. So let's add it. I never knew these little curved pointy brackets here work, but I'm going to leave it because if that's what the system wants to do, maybe it's okay to learn or let it make your life easier somehow. We'll see what it does. And so we're going to set that equal to our F module manager. And we're going to load module checked because we know that this content browser module will exist in the engine. As of type content browser module. And the one that we're looking for is a text content browser. So this is the letter right there that made me hunt and try and actually learn a whole bunch of stuff and try to find why my content browser was not being updated because I had context browser and it's content browser. So, and it makes it especially tough because it's in this and it's right here. And so your eye gets really lost in there. So word to the wise.